Arcadian Vanguard presents The Wrestling News, and your daily wrestling newscast for Saturday, November 16th, 2024. Good morning, I'm Mike Sempervive. We begin today with last night's Smackdown broadcast live on USA Network from the Fizzer Forum in Milwaukee. In the main event, Nia Jax retained the WWE Women's Championship against Naomi in her third televised defense of the title. During an in-ring segment, Solo Sikoa's bloodline was confronted by Roman Reigns' original bloodline, with a brawl ensuing until Bronson Reed ran in to help the Sikoa faction take out Roman and his crew.
Oh no. Moonsault by Fatu. And now big Bronson Reed, the 340-pounder. Tsunami! To Jimmy Uso. Get Roman. If you thought the new bloodline was unstoppable already. And now the attack turned to Roman Reigns here at ringside. And Roman trying to turn the tables. Taking out Tonga Loa. But Roman's been overwhelmed.
Shinsuke Nakamura made a surprise return to WWE television, attacking United States champion LA Knight after Knight's successful defense against Berto of Legado del Fantasma. The first match of the opening round of the tournament to determine the first WWE Women's United States champion was held earlier in the night, with Bayley winning a triple threat over B-Fab and Candice LeRae. The entire bracket for the tournament was also revealed last night, with Bayley now set to face the winner of Bianca Belair against Chelsea Green and Blair Davenport in the semifinals. The quarterfinals being advertised on the other side of the bracket are Jade Cargill against Michin against Piper Niven, and Naomi takes on Tiffany Stratton and Elektra Lopez. Also on the show, the Motor City Machine Guns made their first defense of the WWE Tag Team title, losing by disqualification to the Street Profits when the Profits were attacked by Tommaso Ciampa, who also appeared to turn on his tag team partner, Johnny Gargano.
Wait a minute, where's that? Tommaso Ciampa! Ciampa knocking forward off the top rope, and now attacking Angelo Dawkins! This is uncalled for, this is ridiculous. Ciampa obviously still ticked off. He believes that the Street Profits cut the line. He's also ticked off at the fact that the Machine Guns are champs. Ciampa believes they should have the gold. And Ciampa now pounding away on Montez Ford. And Johnny Gargano now rushes to the ring. Ciampa's partner. Johnny trying to play peacekeeper. Oh my God. What has gotten into Ciampa?
AEW presented Rampage last night on TNT, featuring matches taped Wednesday at the Total Mortgage Arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut. In the main event, Ricochet beat Dante Martin. Rush and the Beast Mortos defeated Alec Price and Richard Holliday, with Holliday being stretchered out in a post-match angle. In other results, Commander beat Rocky Romero, Mark Briscoe topped Arya Davari, and Hikaru Shida went over Layla Gray in the opener. In more WWE news, the son of former heavyweight boxing champion Evander Holyfield is amongst the latest crop of signees to WWE's NXT program, according to Mike Johnson. Elijah Holyfield originally took part in WWE's SummerSlam tryout back in August. Holyfield joins a group of at least 11 new signees, including several college football players, track and field athletes, and gymnasts, as well as Lance Anoa'i, son of Samu Anoa'i, and a member of the extended Samoan wrestling dynasty. Taking a look at international news, All Japan Pro Wrestling presented the second night of the 2024 Real World Tag League yesterday in Morioka. Teams winning in Block A matches were Dan Tamura and Shotaro Ashino, as well as Hokuto Amore and Kuma Arashi. Daisuke Sakamoto and Kengo Mishimo battled Musashi and Seiki Yoshioka to a time-limit draw. Sakamoto and Mishimo lead the block with 3 points. Victorious in a Block B match was the team of Ren Abe and Ryuki Honda. And last night inside CMLL's Arena Mexico, Flip Gordon defeated Viano 3 Jr. to capture the NWA World Historic Middleweight title. It's the highest profile championship that Gordon's won in his career. Mystico vacated the honor on October 30th after a 2,262-day reign as champion. In some unfortunate news, it was reported on Thursday that both prominent little person wrestler Darling Dagmar and former British welterweight and middleweight champion Brian Maxine had passed away earlier this month. Dagmar, real name Kathy Moreland, was one of the most well-known female little person wrestlers of the 1960s and 70s, often referred to as the Marilyn Monroe of midget wrestlers. She was born Kathy Carlton in Winston-Salem, North Carolina in 1943 and was a trainee of the fabulous Moolah Lillian Ellison. She would be an attraction in many territories, often working with Baby Shirley and Diamond Lil. She was married for 34 years to fellow little person Edsel Clyde Moreland, co-founder of the Little People of America. He passed away in 2009. Kathy Moreland had been under hospice care as of late after spending her recent years in a nursing home. Her funeral was held on November 8th. She was 81 years old. Brian Maxine was a star for joint promotions in the United Kingdom during the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, known for his flamboyant appearances on World of Sport. He held the British welterweight title from 1969 to 1971 and briefly held the middleweight title simultaneously, the first champion at two weights in modern British wrestling history. Maxine claimed the middleweight title until 1999 and became known by the nickname of Gold Belt. He was also a cabaret performer and recorded several country music albums. In 1983, he trained Blondie lead singer Debbie Harry to wrestle for her lead role in the Broadway musical Tea-Neck Tansy, The Venus Flytrap, alongside Andy Kaufman. Maxine passed away Wednesday at the age of 86. Both recent deaths came after it was first made public earlier this week by Slam Wrestling that Sandy Parker, acclaimed women's wrestler of the 1960s and 70s and the first black women's world champion, had passed away in June 2022 at the age of 77. And finally, the 2024 class of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame was announced yesterday. A total of 9 inductees received the 60% of votes necessary for induction. They include top current WWE star and former WWE champion Roman Reigns, as well as AEW headliners and recent World Tag Team champions the Young Bucks, current New Japan star and former IWGP World Champion Shingo Takagi, and 30-year Japanese veteran Shima. More historical inductees include WWF headliner Paul Orndorff, longtime Montreal promoter and wrestler Johnny Rougeau, the Lucha Libre trio known as Los Hermanos Dinamita, respected British technical grappler Johnny Saint, and the influential early wrestling manager Bobby Davis. The Wrestling Observer Newsletter Hall of Fame has existed since 1996, with candidates selected by Dave Meltzer and voted on each year by a selection of wrestling writers, historians, and people from within the business, past and present. And before we leave you today, we'd like to remind you that however you consume your content, you can find the wrestling news 24 hours a day and 7 days a week across social media. On Twitter, follow us at Wrestling News AV. Our Facebook page is also Wrestling News AV. The Wrestling News can also be found on the Arcadian Vanguard YouTube page. And for those who utilize Amazon Echo devices, just tell Alexa to play the Wrestling News podcast. And remember to make sure you add podcast at the end. Once again, for daily updates, breaking news, and more, follow the Wrestling News across social media. And that's the news for today. If anything happens, we will be here to tell you about it. No clickbait, no paywall, just the Wrestling News. The Wrestling News is a division of Arcadian Vanguard, and the Wrestling Newscast is a production of the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network.